We're here. We're ready to go. Welcome back to the Hip Hop Hustle podcast. And as promised, the one and only Cuban Link is back for part two of my discussion with him because we have so much to talk about. We spoke about a bit of Big Pun. We spoke about a bit of Fat Joe. We were speaking and you were saying, got to go out and do a little bit more research. I did a little bit more research on the things you were saying, on the things Fat Joe has been saying. And right. Ultimately, I also wanted to understand your career a little bit more. I kind of get sidetracked, and I'm sure everybody gets sidetracked by Big Pun, but obviously you are an artist in your own right. And I wanted to spend some time on understanding your journey in terms of how you got the come up and in terms of what happened from your perspective. So, man, absolute pleasure to have you back.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, today is Pun's birthday, so let's not forget that. So happy birthday to my brother. You know what I'm saying? Though I know he always shadows everything all the time. Once again, you know, it's his birthday. So we're doing this interview on his birthday, November 10th. So yeah, man, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is part two, uh, number two. So basically, I mean, just as far as what's the question that you wanted me to ask? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, obviously, I wanted to say happy birthday to Big Pun. He's my favorite rapper of all time. We said that on the last one, and so it's for me, it's a privilege as well to be able to speak to somebody who is so close to him. But what I want to know from you is like, what was your journey in hip hop in terms of where did you start, and where did you get your come up?
Well, I started in Cuba. I mean, I started in Cuba, born in Cuba, came here when I was 5. The Mariel boat lift, 1980. Went to stood in Miami took from the Mariel Harbor in Cuba to Key West. Stood in Miami, North Miami, for 6 months after we landed there. So 81, I think, turned 81. Then we went to Puerto Rico for 4 years. I came here when I was 9 to the Bronx. So, you know, as a young kid, of course, you know, it was nothing but fun and games for us. But, you know, later on realizing that, you know, my father, you know, my mother risked their lives, you know, to get us over here for the, you know, so we could get our dreams to be, live our dreams really with the freedom, you know, because in Cuba, the communism is crazy. You know, we had a better shot over here to, you know, becoming who we, you know, of course, the best we could be in America. That was the dream. And just you know, when I touched down in the Bronx, it was just so different because, you know, we come from a tropical island, all of, you know, from Puerto Rico, Cuba, Miami, all of that is like, you know, heat and just palm trees. And when we landed over here, it was nothing but burnt buildings and cold weather. You know, and it was just, to me, it was an adventure. You know, it was an adventure. I wasn't really scared because of, as far as fear, because of what we've been through already. You know, that the Mariel boat lift was crazy. And in Puerto Rico, you know, I was living in the caseríos. In Spanish, that's projects. You know, before we came here to America, we was in Puerto Rico and we was living in this kind of poverty. You know, my father was bugging out. He started playing the horses and shit. So he lost some money, you know, because it was really working hard when we first got here. My mom and my pops, they had a little restaurant out there. So they saved a little money. My pops, of course, you know, gamblers intuition and just their vein. So he managed to blow off a couple of G's and messed it up, you know, things up. So we decided to come to New York. Out of nowhere, he decided to come to New York, my father. So he was the reason, you know, he's not here no more. Rest in peace, my pops. You know, he was the reason that we actually did all you know, got it like left Cuba, and then out of nowhere just left to New York. So we landed in the Bronx, 45 Sheridan Avenue. It's like the heart. That's like my Yankee Stadium, that area over there. And you see the graffiti. I seen the graffiti. I seen the kids playing double dutch outside. Playing skelsies. Put clay in the top and play in the middle of the street against other people. It's a game out here in America. The blue ball to the curve. Playing pop, playing slugs, playing stickball. Just I seen everybody just having fun with coats, big giant coats on, but they still outside having a good time. I never got to see snow yet. So like I said, we come from a warm climate area, so it was just I remember the the crackheads also because it was the crack epidemic. So I remember all those things, which it didn't bother me because we just been through a lot. So basically, I just seen the ambience of hip hop, like the music with the boombox playing. I remember those things that took my mind from the poverty we was in, as far as like all the messed up situation that how it looked with the burnt buildings. You could still smell the smoke at that time. It was like recently burnt at that time. It was two buildings that were burnt across the street where I was at. But the block was nice, and this was like next to Yankee Stadium, so it's not like it was like poverty, poverty, poverty. It was just like that's just the way the Bronx was, looking at the time. Uh, and yeah, the invasion of hip hop was right there on the cusp of that. I got here in 1984, 1985, right there in the middle. If not the beginning, the ending of '84, or the beginning of '85. Uh, and it was just, I seen things that I never seen. As far as the fashion, the Adidas with the fat laces. I didn't know what to think about it when I first, laid eyes on them. But soon enough, of course, you settle in and you got to go to school. I didn't know no English, so my friends, as soon as I got there, I had friends. So they were black friends, black kids that didn't know Spanish. So I was hanging out the next day with them, going outside playing with no language, to even communicate with yet. So we just knew how to be kids. So they gave me love. Black folks out here, they gave me a lot of love. So I definitely was deep inside the black culture out here when I first got here. From the food, the chitlins and the collard greens, and, being with one of my neighbors, my man Carl Brown at the time, and
You know
Kevin
what I
and
do
all of
you know
that.
what I find
So
interesting? Sorry to interrupt. Is like
sorry.
as you're saying these things and people listen, but you're smiling as you remember and reminisce about you know coming to what objectively is quite a scary moment because as you said you were in a warm climate, you come to a new place, burnt buildings, people are outside, they're playing, like you see crackheads. I'm sure that's a weird thing to like see and go what is that. And then but then for you to come to a school with no language and still like reminisce and think about it positively, it's really interesting. For most people I feel like that would be a really scary moment, but it doesn't sound
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that's the case for you.
what right because of the age also. I was 5 years old. I mean 9 years old. 9 years old. I mean, you still know what's good. Still, you know what fear is. But for some reason, I just felt, I felt like, it was home, and it was like a whole different, like the opposites. So I mean, sometimes life is like that. The yin and the yang. Some like most of the Cubans stood in Miami. Like that's why they got little Havana over there and everything. So most Cubans stood in Miami, warm climates. There was a few Cubans, a lot of Cubans actually in New Jersey, in Bergen Line Avenue, which is New York and New Jersey, next state over. But they settled like in weird places. Like even though it's still whenever you go to like a Cuban like a neighborhood, you can see the colors, the peach and the light yellow. So it's like still tropical or Cubanish, kind of flavor to it. You know, um, But in New York, it was spread out like sprinkles of Cubans are there. So he was one of those. And actually in my block there was no Cuban. I was the only we was the only Cuban family in the whole block. So it's a it was against we was in even though we wasn't with the same background as the rest, which was Puerto Rican and black and some Salvadorians at the time. We was different in that sense. And it's just that New York is like a melting pot where, it's just like it's where, people just congregate and just they don't the color didn't matter, background didn't matter at that time. It was more of a loving situation at that time. Like I mean, that's what I remember through all the crackhead shit and crack vials on the floor and the burned buildings. Like I remember the people embracing us, you know, um, and accepting us and just guiding us, helping us out from the beginning. So that was the love part about it. And don't get me wrong though, because when I went to school, I had to fight. Because I had to fight because I was a new guy, new kid in school, and they were making fun of me. So I had to fight three black kids actually. Let me see if I remember: Dennis, David, and who's the next one? Carl. Oh my God, yeah, those three guys. And then after I fought them, I mean, I beat them up. Ain't gonna lie, beat them up. Uh, Only I think David punched me in my face at the end, but I still beat him up because I had him on the ground. But anyway, I beat him up every day. I had to fight one of them. So 3 days in a row, I was fighting after school. After that, they became my best friends. And once again, that's how you make your bones. That goes anywhere. But with my language barrier at the time, because I didn't even know English when I was fighting these kids. So what I'm saying, I was like kind of lost too. But God, oh my God, hello.
No, yes.
Oh Lord Jesus, this is Cuban
it's
Link. This is the link.
it's Murphy's law, as it happens all the time. As soon as you are busy, people want a piece of you.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Well, what I was saying, from there on, I went to school. I learned English, of course. But I started off in the bilingual class first. That's when it started picking on me. Of course, all the bilingual kids always get picked on. I had the 3 fights or whatever. I earned my respect there. 9 years old, and and then everything was just smooth. Everything was just about learning the American way, like the holidays, and just the swag that they had at the top, which was what was fashion and what was what was in, and that was in my surroundings was just all hip hop. It was basically a block and oh Lord Jesus Christ, you got me?
You're still here. You're still here.
Okay. Damn. Anyway, so yeah, so this block, what the block that it's 163rd and 164th in between those two blocks. My building was there in 955 is the building, but 945 we went there first, which is the building across the street. Then we moved, to the one when we actually could afford to live on our own because we had to stay with somebody when we first got in, and they took us in for a little bit, and then we got our money, whatever. But that block right there, it was it's a famous graffiti piece that was there in the same block, and it read HBO. Now HBO was like a channel, right? To me,
Well, that's
we
the
didn't even
first
know
thing
what
I
cable.
thought.
Yeah, because it was the HBO, and it's like we used to get it there. Actually, we used to get free HBO. This is the time where there was no cable TV for the Bronx. There was only Manhattan, and you could only get like Playboy in Manhattan and shit. You could get everything in Manhattan, but not in the Bronx or Brooklyn. They didn't put the cables up yet, but we used to get it. If you move the antenna, you get WHT, you get HBO. So that's how I knew about HBO. I used to watch a show called Fraggle Rock, just holding the antenna because I liked it so much. That shit was grainy. You couldn't really see it. Sometimes it just goes out. But anyway, there was this big graffiti piece in the block that says HBO. And later on in life, I found out that stood. I mean, I knew back then it stood for Homeboys Only, but I didn't know the history until later on when I found out that those are the guys that helped NWA. Well, they tried to help. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, remember the New York dudes that came in the beginning trying to teach like NWA how to rap or something,
yeah.
try to help them? That's HBO. That's those guys, and they're from a block, you know. So that was crazy that I learned that later on. But I always knew that I thought it was like a posse. Back in the days, a lot of crews. You know, it was a lot of crews that Homeboys Only. But it was dumb. It was actually dumb. So it was to me, you know, some music that came out of there as far as like back in the days. So you know, but even back then, me and my sister used to be always dabbling with music. You know, she used to be actually she wanted to be a singer. My sister wanted to be a singer and all that. You know, she was older than me. Of course, she got 5 years on me, so she was like 15. She was already older. Um, I was 9, 10, and you know, she'll do like little shows you know, in a school. And I would help her, like, you know, and at home I would help. And that's like at 10, 11 years old. I would help because we used to always play around. It's, you know, but it was always like, I liked it. Like I'll come up with some new shit that nobody, you know, I wouldn't even study. I never studied music in my life. But it was just like, just growing up with, you know, my mom's playing music. My father wasn't, but my uncle was a guitar player out there in Cuba. So it was just always something that was in my DNA to get the rhythm right. And my sister, that's when I first how I started my stuff was with my sister. Even though she wasn't doing hip hop, she was doing like singing songs, but I would help her with the melodies and stuff like that. And you know, she encouraged me like, well, yeah, you know what you're doing. And then her friends came and they was, you know, pat me in the back, and you know, I was a little, I guess, handsome little guy there. Her friends used to like, you know, kind of molest me and shit, kiss me and shit. I didn't know what the kiss was. So I was like, you know, real embarrassed. But not molest me, but you know what I'm saying? Fucking fondle me. Don't even say that either. Anyway, they used to fucking make out with me when I was little. I was a kid. You know, so basically that's really where I started my music uh like that, you know, just dabbing into the music part of things. I used to listen to, you know, just songs on the radio. We came here with Madonna was popping, Michael Jackson, Menudo. Those are the people that was like on top of the game. So my sister loved that. That was my sister thing. Me, I know I you know, the Furious Five, the Ha, you know, Roxanne Shante, you know, when who's that? Um, Mr. Magic used to come on the radio. Out here, he had a channel. I forgot the 95 something. I think it was the 95.5, the one before Kiss. Anyway, he had a station. That's the only station you could get hip hop. I used to stay there. I made my mother and my father buy me a cassette, a boombox, a little boombox, and I used to stay and record his shows. You know, and right there. I mean, just, you know, Melly Mel spitting, you know, don't, you know, get too close to the edge and all of that, and the highs, and it's just it was just so rhythmatic and so like it was right there in front of us. Is what I feel. Like I felt like, you know what I'm saying. It was just like they were speaking to me. You know what I'm saying, and it's just like so relatable to everything that was going on around me.
So is that when you
From the,
started
you know,
writing? Like when you
no, no,
started hearing it?
I started, no, no, I started. That was me. That was me getting the rhythm of it, getting the rhythm of it. Because remember, I come from that era, so that's you know, the aha. That's like you know, them years ago, a friend of mine. That's that era. So my writing, you know, when you at that era, that's everybody was sounding like that. They would say different stuff, but that was more of the, you know, that was that. You know, my name was Phil Ski at the time. Phil Ski. My real name is Felix. So, you know, And then of course the B boys joined the B boys. I got into that, and that's all of that just brought me into the hip hop. But as far as writing, matter of fact, I wrote a rhyme back then. My name is Phil Ski. I rocks the beat. And when I'm rapping, you be sitting at the edge of your seat. Because my rhymes are dope. Niggas just can't cope. I'll be sending messages like an envelope. I got many go ropes, but I'm not the Pope. And if you're dirty, prepare to use water and soap. You see that? That's way back then, right? And
Do
that's
you know what it is?
me.
It's like I've said it before to some of my friends. It's like almost like a Dr. Zeus type vibe. It's like a very like set format. It's very like it. It still sounds good though. Like when and
No,
to
no,
be
no,
honest, I'm
of course.
impressed that you remember. I remember half the
Remember.
shit, but the fact that you can remember and just do it off the top straight away is impressive.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. I mean, when I start thinking, when you take me there, I definitely get it. So that was my first rhyme, Phil Ski. That's the era where the Furious Five. That's before the Rakims and the G Raps and the Big Daddy Kanes came. The Slick Ricks came. No, matter of fact, Slick Rick was there because the show was popping. So Slick Rick was, he had that swag with the, he had just that British kind of, saying English language type of little lisp for them. So he was different. And he's super dope, super dope. Storyteller, the number one storyteller ever to me. And him and Dougie Fresh, they did the show. The beatbox was my favorite thing to do. I used to have battles after school with the I used to do the Fat Boys, the Chub, my man from the Fat Boys, So that was my favorite beatbox, the human beatbox. So um, I got all those jewels from back then, just chilling in the streets, just living in that neighborhood I was living in. From the peers that I had, all we did was that. All we did was it's a routine. That's part of the routine. The music, the Levi's, well, the Lees. It was the Lees, corduroy jeans, the Lees, the fashion. It was 8 ball jackets. It was everything that we was moving as far as like the neighborhood was will be in fashion. We'll make the fashion is what I'm saying. It started from there. It was a grassroots thing. It wasn't something like like what's going on now with the Gucci and all that. It wasn't that. It was things that styles that we styled up from the hood. We wear the pants, the leads, and we cut them up in the bottom as it be a new style. So it was still being like these things were still being done fresh out the box. It wasn't no hip hop wasn't out there like it is now. So the music is so important in this culture because it drives everything. That's when we seen Run DMC with the Adidas. That's everybody had Adidas because there was rocking them, and what I'm saying, and the Kangol hats and everything. So I come from that era. Uh, I got that era down pat as far as like what the the pulse of the pulse of New York City. I had it because I lived in it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really the Bronx. But as far as like, and then from there on, it's still with me, still with me. Like through school, I would write rhymes instead of. Now I started rhyming. I started writing. Um, I started writing once like G Rap came out. G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. That era started writing. They inspired me to write, but I used to write their verses, their verses first. So I used to copy. I used to listen to like their rhymes, and I write their rhymes down. And then my friend would do the same thing with like let's say KRS One, and then we'll recite it to each other. Like we battle each other. Say so it'd be like who's the best MC? Like say who's better, who's better. But like I'll decipher everything that they say just because I'm writing it now. Like I'm writing. When you write something down, you already know it better than just hearing it. So I seen it. I seen the format. I seen how and what stood out and who stood out was G Rap to me. just because of the metaphors he used, the similes, the style. Um, he was just incredible. He still, do his what he does. But at that time, growing up, I gravitated to G Rap. Big Daddy Kane too. He was just I just like the underdog. The underdogs. The underdog thing with me is like because I seen something, and sometimes they don't get to play out. Some things happen, and look at that. It's crazy because I'm the underdog now. So I keep that as a jewel. Always like I know there's something special that the world needs to hear from Cuban, and I'm gonna make sure they get it. As far as that, but Nas came out. I remember a young boy that he changed the whole. He changed the whole. Like that was a new era right there. When Nas came in, that was like they passed the baton. G Rap, Kane, KRS, they all passed the baton to him. Like that was the new era. You could tell it was a new era, and that's when the poetical, because even though Rakim was real deep, G Rap was action. Like he was just fireworks as soon as with the metaphors and stuff. Kane was the whole package. He was like the business. He was the lyrical. He was the image. He was he was it to the world like a pop like a pop star almost like the first pop star really was. Well, Run DMC and all of that, but they did records like Walk This Way. Kane was really from the grassroots of people like the hood, like hip hop, with lyrics and it's a whole different. They view different, Um, but as far as like who inspired me, I would have to say all of them guys. Really, from Slick Rick telling stories, uh, the show, um, G Raps, Gangster, out of this world, like mindset. Like he's a genius to me. Like he say shit that is just so incredible to me. And I passed that along. Like that's why Pun was he kind of changed from being a Rakim fan, like number one fan, like what I'm saying, to G Rap, and later on, he got to give that love to G Rap. And when he told him,
How old were
he praised him.
How old were you when you met Pun? Like, because in the last interview we were saying that you guys were friends well before,
Yeah,
the
I was
notoriety
16.
came through.
I met him when I was really. I met him when I was like 15, 14, 15, 15 years old. I moved to a new block to 167 in Prospect, and I seen him playing basketball in the courts. And not too many Spanish people where I lived at, so it was like three of us. So he was one of the Spanish dudes, and then we was rocking. I mean, he was bigger. He's older, so I was rocking in the biddies, the small courts with the younger guys, and he was rocking with the big boys. And I saw him, and after the game, he could say, "Oh, it was, quick. What's up?" He's always cool. He was slimmer. Then later on, probably like a year later, that's when Triple Six brought him to my window, and they told me to come downstairs, hit my windows with some rocks and shit in the morning, like 9 in the morning, and they told me to come downstairs. Stace was like a family friend as far as like my family, with his family. So we had that relationship like within the parents and stuff. So he brought, Chris to my house one day. And when I got outside, he showed me a brand new 380, a gun. Because Chase knew that I had guns. Like, I like guns. You know what I'm saying? My father fucking got me hooked up. So he showed me the 380. Well, we went to the roof and busted. From that day, he took us to his crib. Pun. He took us to his house. Me and Safe chilled the whole day. Fucking never had this much fun with fucking somebody. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he had his own house. I still live with my mom's, Safe too. So he was like a older. Yeah, he was 18. But he was an older 18. He already had his house. He had some money coming in already. He had his daughter. So he had his own place. So he kept me there for a fucking week. And I never wanted to leave. Yo, this motherfucker, we play fucking pool, the little pool tables, the Fisher Price pool tables. We'll play there with imaginary money, thousands of dollars. We owe each other for no reason. Making moves on our own. Like, we started like that's one thing about Pun. Like, he was so like he wants to do it his way or a new way. He was always creative with that. He was always like, even when he sang a song, I used to tell him, "No, that's not how the melody goes." Playing around and shit, but he sing a song like the old oldies. He'll sing a song and be like, "That's not the way it goes." The melody. He was like, they always told me that you have to do your own thing, put your own twist to it when you ever take a song. And I was like, get the fuck out of it. I never even cared about it too much, right? But then later on, I was like, yo, he was right. He's right. That's what you're supposed to do as an artist. You're supposed to put your own twist to it and make it yours, regardless. It's just that he was off tune. That's what my problem was. so yeah. So I just stood in his house, man, for a week, and that was it. That was it. From that week, forget about it. Inseparable. That's not even safe. Like he brought us together. At that moment, but he sent fucking Sage back. And he's one of those niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't like he gets boring. He doesn't get bored. Pun was a fucking 24/7. It was just action and fucking laughter and making jokes and uh, doing something. We was always doing something. From there, we went to boxing. We started boxing together. We played ball together everywhere. Just wherever I stayed, he'd come pick me up with his car in my high school, Chelsea High School. I used to carry a fucking picture of him with the snorkel. If you see him, you see him in a snorkel. Not a snorkel, a sheepskin, that jacket.
Yeah.
He's a famous picture. I bought that. He gave me that jacket, but I bought it from him. He sold it to me for $150 back then. But he used to lend me that jacket. And that was his favorite jacket. I used to have a picture of him with the jacket inside my fucking wallet. Like, that's my brother. I used to show him for school without being Pun. This is not even fucking Big Pun yet. This is just, you know what I'm saying? This is Moondog. So, that was, just to show you, the kind of, what I'm saying, like unity we had and love we had for each other. And yeah, man, that's Big Bro right there, Big Bro. And, like, as far as the hip hop, when we started doing like the music together, like he was more energized for that at that time. We was energized too, but he was like he'll catch something quick and like he'll just learn something real quick, man, quicker than anybody I ever seen. So he was dope when I first heard him. He had a song called "Brothers Ride the John." That was his first song he wrote. I remember that. Brothers Ride the John, can't use I swing, then my thing. Like it's hard to remember that one. But he should say so funny. He used to be Brothers Ride the John. You do the nice swing. He used to say like a white boy, right? Is it right there, right bitch? Fuck like nigga, night bitch, night bitch, fuck around, get raped like a white bitch. Yeah, he was saying shit like that. That would catch my that's what caught my shit. Like, fuck, what you said? So he always had it. He always had it. He just wasn't polished yet. So like that's what I'm trying to say. All of us together, like we helped each other in the writing and in the energies. Like Sage helped us, saying, like, concentrate more and take it more serious. Pun was just over dedicated to like OD. He was like a monster on it. He couldn't stop. He was addicted to that shit to the point he went crazy. That's how he got that crazy, because he took that serious like that, and that's what he was. He takes one thing serious, and he makes sure that the world knows it and everything. Boxing, it was incredible. But when it came to writing music and me, I was like, get inspired. It wasn't all in either for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had those motivational things about them, but me, I was like more like a slow rider, not intimidated at all. I was just like, I gotta say things. Like my whole shit was always, let me fit into this group because I know what a group is about, right? So I know, like I told you before, I wrote shit for other guys in the auditorium when I had a play. I mean, a show to do in Chelsea High School. So I wrote for other guys. So I knew, like, my thing is more construction, like the maestro type in the back. I always been the dude, like, okay, pun is sounding like that. You gotta say something like this. How the fuck I'm gonna attack this to bat, to get, not to take over, but to be heard and respected, as well as the whole song as a whole to be dope. Not just this part is dope. The whole song gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta fit in to that little link there. But that was my thing, and that's what made me take so long sometimes. That sometimes it's like, eh, it's my mind. I fight myself, like my worst own critic. But we started just doing what you know dudes from the hood do. We made up a group. Um, um, the group was called Rough and Rugged. It's me and Pun first. Uh, Sace was already spoken for by these other guys called Young and Ruthless. The dopest MCs that we heard from our local area. Dopest, you know what I'm saying? That was Triple Sace's name was Joker Jam at the time. Joker Jam. He was dope at that time. He was like I feel he's better back then. Like as far as you know what I'm saying? When he changed his name, I didn't like too much. I ain't like the 666. And we got into the horrorcore. The horrorcore at that time was because the Wu Tang. Remember the Diary of a Dead Man? What is it? Diary of a Dead Man thing, right?
Mm.
Be a witness as I exercise my exorcism. The lyrics within the sinners in the terrorism. Remember that? The Grave Diggers.
Yeah.
Remember the Grave Diggers?
Yeah.
Okay, the Grave Diggers. So the Grave Diggers, and then Nas with that. When I was 12, I went to Hell for Stuff in Jesus. All that shit, we found it fucking fascinating. So, you know, we started venturing, not dressing up with the fucking fangs or nothing, but going to that type of realm, evil type shit. You know what I'm saying? Uh, did I spit that rhyme with you last time?
No, you didn't.
When we did the okay, so yeah, so that's what Pun had. I'm gonna give you an example. That's when Pun did the cannibalism is living in my metabolism, giving them spasms and aneurysms and baby baptisms. It's for my thugs bringing blood. What he was love. What he unfloated floods and bloated mugs. Even the you come on, help me. You know it. Even the Reverend can catch a seven when I be heading.
Here's the problem.
Is letting that. The Armageddon is letting demons. The Armageddon is letting demons, heathens in heaven. The blind spiritual time, which you will find. Scriptures of Satan. It's scriptures of Satan and critical mind. Remember that?
Yeah. See, here's the problem. Here's where I know my limitations. I'm so bad with remembering rhymes. Like I wish I was better at it. And it's like, so when you're that's why I'm so impressed. Whenever you're like off the top remembering rhymes, I'm like, oh God.
But I'll be fucking up too. I remember it. But if I hear it, I could say the whole thing. But me off the top, be like, I'm still, I'm actually speaking it when I'm thinking of it. But yeah, but that's when he did that on the cannibalism. He used it for the Yeah Baby album, and that rhyme right there was from back then. You understand? He had too many like that, but that's when the one we did. That was flip on the nigga, flip on the nigga. And we Spanish motherfuckers over here too. Flip on it. But we had the whole hood saying this shit. Right? We don't think of that. The nigga word is just my brother. You know what I'm saying? Or my enemy. It's just a word that we use, regardless. But later on, of course, find out that shit. It's got a lot of history to it, and it always did. It's just like I said, New York is a melting pot. It's a place where you bond. Everybody's the same. At that time, it was, it was a unity. It was like the homies. No matter what color you are, hip hop combined it. I mean, united us together. So when we get to a certain level in music, you say that word, the N word, and it feels like we disrespecting something. As far as like I agree that only certain people could use it and all that, but you know, like it's hard for me to stop saying it because I grew up around this shit, right? But
I was going to say,
I understand.
did people ever say to you how you shouldn't use it?
One kid in the hood, he said that shit to me, like a Black Panther kid, and I knew this dude. He was growing up. He was a little shorty, but then he grew up and started getting with the. That was the black and the red and yellow with the key X Clan. Remember fucking X Clan?
Yeah.
That's when that shit was out. And you know, it was the medallions and shit. You know, I have a medallion, motherfucking big ass beads and shit, because it was about hip hop. I used to love X Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, like fuck with all of them. But this dude out of nowhere, you know, he said that. He said, yo, you stop. He said it in a way to like, yo, you can't, yo, what are you using that word for, man? And you try to put the pressure, like, what you talking about, man? I say, you using that word, man? I use that word when the fuck I want. Now, you know, I wasn't thinking about it. I just looked at his attitude, the way he said it. So you know, it was a challenging thing to me. It's like, you know, with, you know, but it's when you look at it from the outside, you argue that you're gonna lose all the time. You're gonna lose all the time, and I had to notice that later on, even though I know it's a word that is definitely, you know, you got blood on it from way back in the history. You cannot make everybody, and I don't want to. I don't want to either. You know, I wouldn't want to. As older, you know, what I'm saying, me growing up, understanding too. But how beautiful it was when we was around each other, but that didn't matter. That didn't mean that. That meant, you know, brotherhood. That meant something, you know what I'm saying, that we took the meaning out of it. That all that blood that shit had, all that negative power that word had, you know, was removed the way we talked about it. And that's the way I see it. And that's the way most of the kids see it from, you know, that understand it. But that was just that area. You understand? So I'm just saying, if that area could get together like that and that unity could happen with the music, with hip hop, you know, with the black, you know, the brown, the red, the yellow, all together without even noticing no color or calling anybody the derogative word right there to mean that, as far as like, you know, what it means or what it meant, and all be happy about it, chill it without saying nobody's going crazy about it, just in that area, it worked. And that's the thing. It worked in that area, right? But you can't make everybody because everybody don't have the same experiences. So, and it's hard. It's hard to, and not
And
everybody's the
obviously, there
same.
are people who still say it with the intent behind it and the blood on it, as opposed to
No, no doubt, no doubt,
the
no doubt.
what you felt, which was like
But that's the
obviously,
problem.
yeah, yeah.
That's the problem. They're gonna win though. See, they're winning because that means because they saying it now, and not even to even justify that. Just because they saying it, it brings more. Like it's 10 times the fucking pain than it brings of good. Like, you know, that what we thought of good, not even that it's good. We wasn't doing that shit with a plot. It's just what it was. It was a word that was used, and you know, just like the F word right now. You can't say that either because of the gay community, right? It's bad to say the F word, right? But it's just like that didn't mean that. You know, that didn't mean that. I mean, you get mad, you say something, but it is that, right? It is that to a point. Because at the end of a bunch of sticks together. There's the meaning of it, right? But use it the other way, you know, bad. Everything is just you give too much power to words. But at the end of the day, it's like
I remember
it's
at
something.
school, when I was growing up, we used to say gay, and we went gay as in stupid, not as in
Oh,
derogatory
okay.
towards. So we would
No,
say,
we didn't even know what the fuck. We didn't know
yeah,
gay. We didn't know what the
yeah.
hell gay was.
We were just
Gay was
like,
fucking.
we were just like, are you? It was like a way of saying, are you dumb? It was never. It would. You'd never say it to someone who was actually gay. You'd only
Okay.
say it to your friends as a way of saying that's so dumb. Like you're being dumb
Oh
right now. It
shit.
was like slang. So, and obviously it was so weird. And now looking back, obviously we don't say it anymore, but like in the same vein of like it didn't register of like the word because the word meant something else to us. Um,
Right,
and then as you get
right.
older, you realize historically of all these words and
Like
what the
dumb,
meaning
dumb.
is.
You can't say retard. You can't say retard no more. I mean, believe me, if anything, but you can't say that word either. That's you can't say that. See what I'm saying? It's like those are we understand. We understand those are bad words, but we don't use them like that. Where we come from is like we didn't use them like that. We use them as and that's what it is. Power of words, because what might not mean or hurt me with words because it means something different to me, it might hurt somebody else. So we have to still respect that. And when you get to the end of the argument, the N word is you can't win because they're right. There's too much blood on that word, and it's something that it's not resolved yet. See, if something is resolved, you can pass. It won't pass on. But it's still a lot of blood, blood boiling over that, and a lot of feelings, under that. So it's like I understand, you know, but to bring it out there and let people talk and start a conversation about it, it's not bad either, you know.
I agree.
And to tell you the truth, if you want to call me that, I'm an N word. It's not like I go, oh, them niggas over there. I go, no, I'm a nigga too, nigga. Yeah, I'm a nigga too, and I'm an Indian too. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm a Spaniard too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm all that. So I do that for the same reason. I own that. Since you want to call me a nigga, yeah, yeah. I'm a black king. Yeah, I'm a black king. I got that black king blood on me. So you know what I'm saying. So I never got approached with that type of racism up front. Up front. But I know it happens. It happens in many ways. Everybody, everybody's subject to something. And but just my mind, though, I don't think that way. How to approach people. Unless give me a reason. Give me a reason. I still won't stoop to that level of that. I'd rather
It
punch you
is
in your face
interesting.
without.
Intent is and so important, and context is important in language. Like I think it's
Very.
yeah, and exactly what you said. Like you know, you use it endearingly, like as a friend, or as like I'm close to you, rather than and then yeah, obviously people who use it in hate and aggression is
Of
obviously
course,
bad.
but we know that
Yeah,
we could tell the difference. The ER. You know how you hold in the ER too long.
yeah.
We don't say it. You don't say it like that. We don't say it like that. And if you are saying it like that, don't say it. You wasn't meant to say it. You know, just leave it to those that you could tell. You could tell who grew up saying that, and you know, who could probably enlighten somebody with something that they feel about that word.
So
Like I know I could.
even to me, because I've been listening to hip hop for so long, you don't say it with the ER at the end. And
Yeah,
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it
you
like
said it. You said this before. You said that shit before.
I was like, I never hear it like that, right? So
Yeah,
so
but
to
you
me,
look
it's
like
so
you're gonna say it
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, for me,
You
I
look
know
like
I'm
wrong.
gonna say it, but like to me, so when someone does say it with the ER, it's
Yeah.
so it's like, man, you're saying it wrong. Like that's not how they say it.
It hits a nerve, right?
Yeah, it
It
hits a
just hits
nerve
a
even for me. I'm like, oh,
uncomfortable,
that's
uncomfortable.
that's too hard. That's way too harsh. Like
And
that's
how
not.
can you say that, right? How can
Yeah.
you say that? Be like, and then you gotta argue with it like a smart ass. Be like, that's how it's spelled,
No, no,
motherfucker.
no.
Like,
It's spelled with
no,
an
I know,
A.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, I know. Yeah, but listen, that's not it. Like, imagine you get one of those nerds, and it's like, it's a people just some don't get it. So the thing is, just abolish it. Just don't say it. That's hard for motherfuckers. That it's kind of like it's not. That's just because it's not me. Like as far as they consider me Spanish, Latino, whatever. Like I don't look at myself as that. So you know what I'm saying. I know some what they saying. So it's too much in between. Too much in between.
It's also
And
hard. You grew up with it. Like, you came
right,
and people were using it in your
Yeah,
formative.
but I ain't got an excuse either. I'm a fucking immigrant too. So I came from another country. So for me saying it's like, but it's not the reason why I say it's the reason I grew up that way. You know, even though I went to college too. So I got no excuses. It's just, you know, I embraced it as part of my history too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I embraced that as my part of my history, not as part of, I embraced it as part of the blood that was spilled on it. I get motherfucking mad. I get mad at shit. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's just incredible what the history of America was. But as far as like me taking it that serious when I'm saying that word, no, I definitely don't mean that word for you to take it that serious. You know what I'm saying? As far as like all the way fuck back there, it's a word that we use every day. I'm a fucking hip hop artist too. At the end of the day, that's how I grew up with gangster motherfuckers from the street. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that word is thrown back and forth like nothing. But I don't want to also be the fucking motherfucker that defends that word either. So other people can say it. I don't want to be that either. You know what I'm saying? So you know, we got a little bad habits. You know, just like cigarettes. Fucking smoking right now. So you know, we're working.
What do you mean, Cuban? Are you not perfect? Is that what you're telling me right now? You're not.
Yeah, and I know I'm gonna fuck up. That's why. And that thing, I'm gonna fuck up. Like if somebody tell me, yo, stop saying the N word. Like, give me $1 million. I'll be like, I know by the end of the day, I'm gonna fucking fuck up that $1 million because I'm gonna make a mistake. You know, I know that, and it's not. You know, you could tell it's not something that means that shit to me because when I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it in a good way, but I'm gonna slip up because so many meanings to it. You know, it's better than saying fuck or motherfucker. Because motherfucker is another word that you can use at 10,000, but you're gonna be cursing all day. You know, So it's like everything is just crazy, man. It's just too much power in words, and I am an artist and I am a fucking writer, so I should know that. There's a lot of power in words. But yeah, I think it's a solution. There's something there though. It's a link there that I gotta get to. That I know I'm gonna make some powerful shit one day. A nice little song there with that word to bring it to not for everybody to say, it's just to recognize how, you know what I'm saying? Because people are people. They're gonna take it how they take it. You can say it in a nice way. Motherfucker over there, oh, he called me this. And then you know you didn't say it like that, but now you got 300 motherfuckers that are racist and they're throwing the shit back at you like you call them something, you know? Like when I say cracker, cracker, cracker. But that's me though, the whole thing, right? Me, I snap, right? So I'm joking to get all the shit out. You know, speak. Right? We all say all the racial slurs, and then start with what? That hurt you? Can't hurt you. Because I'm part of you. You're part of me. You're part of me. You know, that's names. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple when you use the N word because the N word has blood. A lot of blood there. So I understand. Okay, let's get the fuck out of here because you guys are gonna keep me with this fucking. I'm gonna lose badly.
To be honest, it feels like we're gonna have to do a part 3 because we haven't even gotten.
No, not leaving. I'm not saying let's skip that word.
We're leaving that word alone. But it feels like we're gonna have to do a part 3. We haven't even gotten to where you got signed. So
God.
there's so much to talk about. But
you're gonna do the whole fucking documentary. You might as well just narrate my whole fucking story with some pictures.
I'm legitimately interested. So I mean, you know,
that's what I'm working on too.
So
let's do it.
Hey, you know, if you want to keep coming back, because I feel and when I listen to other people and you need someone there to like ask you questions, makes you remember shit, and just like kind of gets you to go a little deeper.
Because if I keep rambling and shit, I go off and on, and by the time I come back, I'm in another fucking state. So that's what I'm saying. I need somebody to keep me there to that memory, and I get everything out of that, just that little part. Then we can move on to the next. Because I will go to like fucking Jupiter, come back to fucking Mars. I will. Just like I did right now.
Because you were talking about horrorcore, and you were talking about that's
horrorcore.
That's
Ooh, I
like you.
forgot about that because the
Yeah.
fucking word Nick. Oh my god, incredible. How the fuck I remember that now? You told me, yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking horrorcore, the Gravediggers, yes, the Gravediggers, the Nazis, those little references, the Bible references. That's why you see pun, even when what was it, walk on water, shit on, born through my mother's ass without a, when she was passing gas, the throat slitter, the 25 to life bitter. That was pun in the beginning. That was the Punisher. You know what I'm saying? And you know that Rakim had a song called The Punisher. I told
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, he had a song called The Punisher. Punish him. Yeah, kill him again. Yeah, yeah. Rakim had, I told him that too. I told him, because I always remember that was his one of his icons that he's like, he used to like that before Coogee Rap. It was Rakim and Coogee Rap. But I was like, he used to get me mad. I used to be like, you bit, you biting, you biting. And he used to tell me I'm biting of the Wu-Tang. So we used to just fucking get heated at each other. He used to be like, you bit off Rakim, nigga. You just repunish it, nigga. He said that shit first. He used to be like, yeah, that's what Cuban Links, nigga, only built for Cuban Links. Fucking Ray Car. They used to get us tight. Oh man, we used to have wars. We used to fucking argue so much. We used to argue like for if you were around us when we argued, it'd be like 3 hours of arguing. You'll be tired. You'd be like, stop, guys. We keep on until you fucking probably just fall asleep or you just doze off somewhere. And we'll make up after 3 hours, get together and fucking wet you while you're sleeping together. That's how we fucking just, that's how our friendship was like, we start laughing and fucking get the middle one. But that was our friendship, man. Yeah, that boy's missed, man. That boy Chris is definitely missed. So much things to it. And that's just that. Because I know how he is. I know how, if anybody knows, besides Liza, this is his wife, it's me that I know, So I see what's happening now. I seen that what happened after he passed away. How, certain things was done by the people he thought would have his back to, more than they had, or a certain way, Because he used to be bragging about things like that, like, I know my twins got my back. He used to always say shit like that, to Joe, to all of us. But especially he say it out loud. But you know what I'm saying? So that bothered me a lot.
Can I ask, how does because I think we're definitely going to have to do a part three because there's so much I want to dive into with regards to the Fat Joe star stuff, the career of past you signed. But what I actually want to ask you was, you know, Big Pun's been gone for a while, and every year, obviously his birthday is still a big part to you, or very close. But how does it make you feel? Is that his birthday when you on a day like today? What does it do to you?
Um, I really, I'm always gonna have pain that he's not here. That's just who I am, Like, and it's always, motherfucker, damn. You know what I'm saying? Not because of me, just because of he died a baby, fucking 28 years old. I'm 47. About to be 48. He would have been 50. So it's like, fuck, my nigga, he was a baby. My son is 27 right now.
Well, I'm
And
28.
look at that. You 28?
Yeah.
You look like you fucking been in a time machine. You're like
Yeah.
30, fucking 59.
I look like this since I was 16.
Get the fuck out of here. You was in the fucking 13th grade? Oh my God. Anyway, you look good. You look good. It's just, for 300-year-old, you look good. But
Hey, I'll
anyway,
take it.
nah, no, no. But it's the beard. It's just the beard because you got
Yeah.
a young face. But look at that, 28 years old. And Pun had the same thing. He's 28. He looked like you. Hairy, and I used to be his barber. So, you know what I'm saying? He used to cut his hair every 2 weeks. For the braids and all that shit that he had with baldies. And I was his barber. So, how you call it? I just, I miss him a lot because it's just, I miss that energy of friendship, that brotherhood. I don't have that with nobody else. Never after that. After that, it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I cherish that. That's something that doesn't come. See, never again. Really, because shit, I had a lot of people around me, and they just. It's not me expecting. It's just that's when it's like that. It's a natural thing. You know what I'm saying with the with the values, with the morals, with the you know what I'm saying, just the honesty, the funniness, everything, all those characteristics in one person that you click like that with. Because he didn't, you know, he been like that all his life. He just he clicked with somebody like me, like you know, before that, it was like when we click, it's because we had the same kind of you know, spirits. So I knew what the fuck he was thinking without even, you know, saying him saying anything, and he did the same thing with me. You know what I'm saying? There's many situations like that I could tell you. But it's just like I just miss him as a human being and as a friend, as somebody that
Would
you
do you,
know forget about
is
Big
it,
Pun. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about Chris.
yeah. Is it lonely when you think about that? Because
Hey,
obviously
you want to stick your fucking knife in there more? So,
I
that's what we're
want
talking
to.
about.
I'm trying to
Hey,
understand you. You know, I think a lot of people, you know, there's a part of you that is obviously, you know, the tough, strong rapper and individual. But I'm interested to know, like, because you said, and I found this interesting that there's never been anyone that you felt as close to in all the time that's been passed. And
yeah, the brotherhood. Yeah. Because
and
I mean, besides, yeah, no. Yeah, it's 100% true. No, nobody else. Like, no other person I could trust in like that. No other person that had my interest in like he did, and vice versa. That you know, we got each other like on some old, you know, helping, improving, and you know, whatever, anything creative, especially in the funniness, jokes, to you know, actually what we, you know, to things to do, like similar everything. So it's like if I want to go somewhere real quick, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I want to go too. So it's just like that. Like that's my other half. Like you know what I'm saying. That was always like that, man. And I mean, I got my own different. You know, I the reason I say things like this is because you know you get older, you start seeing things, and you know we was young. We was young. We did a lot of things too. And, you know, we could always blame you know food with him. We could always blame money. We blame people around him. But at the end of the day, you know, yeah, certain people and some people, all of us really, we're meant to just do what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that's why I had to think of life like that. Like not serving your purpose, but understanding what you was here for. And even if you leave early, you still did something that was incredible. But then it's like the other human half was like, motherfucker, you're not done yet. You know, he wasn't done yet to me. That's my problem. I saw more. You know, I saw, you know, him back to the, you know, model shit. Seen him 180 pounds cock diesel, fucking spitting better than everybody in the world. With his breath back up, but his fucking cock diesel being, you know, sporting fucking, you know, modeling Gucci and whatever the fuck he wanted to do. He had the whole life. It's just that I could also go into his head. I could also go into his head where it's like, I know his depression. I knew his depression. I knew that you know, he told me one day, I told him that. I told him, the twin, yo, okay, the second album, let's go. Come on, let's go. Now we got to get work out. We got to go back to the, because I was worried about myself, but he was getting bigger. So I told him that. I told him, my nigga, let's go. Go back to the gym. Now it's time for you to fucking, now you gonna fuck their heads up. Get skinny, kill them, kill them. You gonna sell fucking quadruple play. You gonna get the Mammy, I mean, the Grammys you want. Watch. He just sat back and said, nah, you got it wrong, Cuba. I said, what you talking about, nigga? He was like, so you think they like me because I spit like this? Nigga, they like me because I'm fat. And I spit this fat and it's like incredible to them. But the whole thing is that I'm not supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to do. So they like me for that. I was like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit and stop fucking around. Stop fucking around because right now you're going stupid right now. You know, you're too smart for me. For me, you're too smart for you to think that way. Because that's first of all, that's like I always used, you know, like I always thought he always come over with an excuse. That's an excuse. And that's what I used to drill him with. I used to drill him with. So he stood away from me a lot of times. But he used to like eat because I knew the shit he says. It's, it will fuck up the next person's head to be like, oh, okay. Since it's like that, okay, go ahead. You do what you want to do. And me, I was like this. No, nigga. No, get the fuck out of here. People like you because you fucking fat and you fucking spit fast. No, maybe they do. I don't give a fuck. You're gonna now be 10 times better. You're gonna draw me with a healthy motherfucking you. That's basically it. So, but it's just me hearing that from him bothered me. And I already knew that he was in there. He was in that. So other people may be telling him this, you know. That's how I felt. He never told me. Well, it didn't seem like it came from him. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It probably people like business people maybe telling them certain things that led him to believe that. Because I don't think my brother would ever believe that. You know what I'm saying? And or maybe that's the world that he felt. He was there. He got lost there. And
Is
I
that
didn't
when
see
you
ever getting
knew?
lost.
Is that when you knew there was trouble? That like this was no longer, because as we
Oh,
said last time, he had said, you know, he could lose the weight. He could do what he wanted. But was that when
the chick,
you it
that was all
really
for show.
yeah.
That was all for show. That I lost 100 pounds. That's all for fucking show. That's why I didn't. That was all for like the fans. I was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like to me, it was that. You know, so I never believed into that shit because I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know you went to fat camp, and I know that the kids were sneaking in fucking chicken burgers in there. There was chicken McNuggets. It was doing the whole prison sneaking the whole fucking what do you call it? Contraband. It was doing
Contraband,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, the contraband. They would come in with chips and fucking Snicker bars and everything, like packed up, and then they sneak into the fat farm, and he gets them in a room, and he fucking, shakes them up and gets all the fucking candy and put them under the bed. I know what he does, and I know what he does, and me saying that now is fucking up a company. I'm like a thorn, kind of now. You know what I'm saying? But not to him. He knows that I'm saying it for real. He knows that I'm saying it. So
He knew as
he
well.
was just, he knew as well. That's what bothers me. Like, motherfucker, stop using them. Like he knew, he knew. I know he knew. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, he was that strong-minded. You can't tell him shit, especially after that. After he had that bread like that, he had money. He'll look at his watch and be like, "My $1 million Rolex says that you're fucking wrong," you know. And they'll laugh, and I'll be like, "Motherfucker." And it's just like his sense of humor always deflect a lot of things. You too, man. It will make me laugh and shit at this more serious times. But yeah, man. I mean, I got my own thing. But at the end of the day, it's my brother. I see it in a spiritual sense. I see it in a human story sense. I see it in Christopher Rio sense. I see it as the big pun story. I see it in all angles. I see it all, and I know. You know what I'm saying? I know is he had a lot of demons too, and it's deeper. It's deeper than shit. If I know my brother, I know him, and I see that's my brother. I don't have no brother. Well, I think I do now. In Cuba, I gotta have a brother. I never met him, but my father told me that shit later. Like, but I don't know him. But God bless him. Whatever. He looks like my father too. But Pun was my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you get somebody like that, that's not your blood, but you could consider that your family. That's special. That's special. When they earned it too. Like they earned it, they went beyond, and they showed you the love, even though they're crazy, but they know that, you know what I'm saying. Just you went, they know. Like me and him know. Like I don't need nobody to know. Like motherfuckers be saying whatever. Oh yeah, he's using his name for clout, or forget about his. I'm never gonna forget about his name. I'm always gonna rep him. Always gonna make a fucking song. I'm always gonna have a letter part fucking 300 for him every time I do an album because that's just the way I am. And I miss my brother. I like to talk to him sometimes. That's how I get my therapy when I write him a letter. When you hear it out. So that's something that I do for me. I do for those that understand. But yeah,
And
that bond there was deep.
yeah, I was gonna say we're definitely gonna have to come back because I want to know more about once you got signed. We got so much to talk about like the drama with Fat Joe, the label, what actually happened. You mentioned on the last episode. Yeah, we're gonna light the fire. But I
You lit
I
the fire already. You lit it.
yeah.
You just need the gasoline. You need enough gasoline now to keep it up. God damn
um
it.
but yeah, because we kind of we talked about it a little bit, the deal, and I want to know more about the deal. I'm generally, and I'm sure you can tell, I genuinely am very interested in both you and Pine and what happened. And I also wanted to take the time to appreciate, when I first started listening to you, Big Pun, and realizing what there was in hip hop. Never did I think in my life would I be able to sit here on a day which is Big Pun's birthday and speak to you and be able to, get your insight into someone that I have loved for such a long time, but also hear about who he was as an individual, speak to you about who you were growing up, and like see the difference in like the smile in between of like when you first met him, the sadness you have now with like when you remember him. And I just want to say it's an absolute privilege for me to be able to do something like this. Like it is one of my dreams to be able to do it. Hopefully one day we can speak in person, but like I just want to say I appreciate it because
No doubt, my brother. No doubt.
it's one thing to like start doing this. It's another thing for you to accept and be so open. So yeah, I just want to just say that I appreciate it.
Oh man, no problem, man. No problem. I mean, I'm an open book. I said it. I made a song about it. So it's an open book. And the truth is gonna set me free. Set everybody free, but me special. So many lies have been compiled on top and so many narratives that just ain't right, that I don't feel right about. And not that it eats me anymore. It doesn't. It doesn't. I just want to get my truth out. So at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. You feel it. You understand it. You gonna hear it. And once you hear it, you gonna feel it because that's what the truth does. It goes through your bones, and you know it.
And that's
Now
the
it's
other
just
thing
that
I wanted
danger.
to find out as well is obviously, as I said, I did more research. I had a look at what Fat Joe was saying. I've heard what you've said on other interviews, and I did want to obviously explore that in a little bit more
Yeah,
depth.
we didn't.
We didn't
That's
we
what that
didn't
was
even
the
touch on
mission.
that. That was
That,
the whole
that
point.
was
And then
that
we
was
got
the whole fucking point.
distracted.
Of course it was. Of course we did. We went to fucking where? The N word, and then we went to Cuba.
Yeah. And then we went to horrorcore and we went to how you
Hardcore.
feel. But that's the whole
Well, yeah,
point.
you just gotta. Yeah, it is. It is. You just gotta put them in order because different like questions strike different things, and there's so many that I could say about just one subject. So many, you know, that I remember. So you gotta understand when I tell you it's details.
And we,
It's
we
not just
obviously
oh
had you
yeah, he
spit
went
some
there.
rhymes.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember every fucking thing. I remember everything. That's the thing about me. But yet, you know, they put the narrative that I'm the drunk one that doesn't, that be making shit up. But anyway, the opposite sides. What I'm saying? I'm a liar and this and that. I don't know if you heard that one. Did you hear?
Yeah,
When
I've
he calls me
heard
a
I've
drunk and
heard.
this and then, slur. Me too. I call them, but I don't call them like, things like, when you get to a personal level, like I call them faggot, bitch, faggot, it's the personality, bitch ass nigga, whatever. But it's never like to the character of, even though he's a liar, but they bring him to himself. So, um, That's it, man. We'll definitely get into that though. We'll definitely get into that in the next part.
For sure.
That's
There's a
that's
part.
that's a whole part by itself though. Remember, I'm telling you things about pun and everything, and that's just about pun. When it comes about shit, you gotta try to you gotta be part of me, this whole shit because now you gotta fuck up my book. You asking me questions, but the fact is, let's just write a book together and fucking do that. That's it.
Hey man, all the references, if this does help you write a book, I'm all
No, it's
for
already. I'm
it.
already writing the book. That's
Yeah.
why I'm telling you. I'm writing a book. It's called Linkfamous. The name of
Yeah.
the book is Linkfamous. So they didn't want to make me famous. They couldn't stand me being famous, so they made me infamous. And the link is the Linkfamous.
Man, I get the feeling that
So
after this, you're going to be like, I'm going to remember, I remember this. I remember this. There's going to be so much more that you get.
yeah, I remember, and I'm trying to tell you, the more you. That's why I need this type of shit too for the book because it's like, you know, it knocks on different doors, and I'll be like, "This open up," I'll be open that shit up. I open all that shit up like this. Whoa, shit! I remember that motherfucker. Yeah, he did. Not to no, not to get nobody, caught up in no shit, but let the motherfuckers know who you are, since you lied so much and loving my brother. That's it. That's the problem. Love him for real. I know you don't love for real. So I'm gonna make you say what you feel on live TV. I'm gonna make you say that. Not me, really. God's gonna make you do that. I'm just gonna be like this. You see, truth always comes out because I know. I know because you said it. It's just that you don't say it publicly because you know you ain't shit. You're doing it, faking it. And don't use my brother like that. Don't use his family like that. That's the problem. Somebody I love, you doing that to. And then me and you got a different problem. Besides that, you doing it to him. You know what I'm saying? Not now, because now it's over. Okay, we're gonna stop.
We're
Part
going to
three.
stop, but we'll connect
I'll go into
offline
it.
for sure. But man, as I said, absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm getting a lot from these
December
as well, and I just yeah.
December 18th. December 18th, my birthday. We could do the second one, the third one.
Right, I'm gonna book it in December 18th.
My birthday.
Done.
Anytime. It don't matter, right? It don't
Yeah,
matter.
we'll
It
figure it
don't
out.
matter if it's December 18th, my birthday. We can make every
Yeah,
appointment
anniversary.
real
Any?
meaningful.
Let me have a
Real
look.
meaniful. Don't start like you have to look like you're gonna say no.
I don't see why not.
There you go. And why is a crooked letter?
All right,
Why is a
man.
crooked letter? Brotherhood, you already know, man.
Appreciate it.
Part three.
Part 3
We gotta
is coming.
give you a lot of shit. Giving you a lot of shit, man.
I love
I
it.
want you to I want you to do you. I want you to put the 16th chapel up. All right?
You know I will.
All right, my brother.
All
No
right.
doubt, man.
Speak soon.
Love. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye.